Welcome to Axel Arigato Talks. I am over the moon to be sitting here with TYSON. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Good morning so far?
Yeah, it's been good. What did I do? Basically just came here.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
It is quite an early start, but you look nice and cosy, so...
Thank you. Staying warm.
I want to acknowledge the fact that it's Tuesday today,
Oh, yeah.
which is a huge tune of yours.
It is.
I've listened to it all morning. It plays in the office. It's a real good song.
I hadn't even thought of that. Yes, it is Tuesday.
God knows when this episode will come out, but at least it's Tuesday today.
It's Tuesday now. That's what matters.
Talk to me about the video, because it's like, I felt like I took a tab of acid watching that.
That was the idea. Yes.
In the best way. I was like, oh, this is trippy. So it's you riding Luck Dragon
Yeah.
from the Neverending Story
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
over London.
Yeah. So it's over West London, like where my family lives, basically, where I was living at the time when we made the video.
Right.
So yeah, my friend Akinola, who directed it, was like, "What about if Tuesday?" Okay, so my one thing was like, I don't want it to be a cheesy love-based video because it's already, like, in a good way, a cheesy love song.
You sort of want to like reframe it and put it on its head.
Exactly.
In a way.
I was like, the last thing I'm going to do is be like singing at some dude being like, "You're going to pick me up on Tuesday," because that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So he was like, "I know. What if Tuesday is a big pink dragon and we spend all the video budget on that?"
And it's a huge foamy.
It's a real puppet, so it's massive. Like it would take up this whole bit. Yeah.
So you didn't want to do the sort of like Kelly and Nelly on the Excel tab?
Not yet.
Like, where are you?
No. Oh, yeah, on the Excel tab.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I can't remember what she typed in the end or something, but yeah, it was definitely an Excel spreadsheet on that one. Yeah, well, I mean, we love that song. And what was it like to shoot? Because obviously the visuals of it were like over West London. You and I were talking earlier a little bit about, I'm a Northwest boy.
Yeah.
Or at least I live there now. Was it literally you in a studio on a huge, fluffy pink
Yeah, it was like,
dragon?
12 hours or something sat on, basically, it's a giant puppet head, and I had to climb up and sit in the top of the head, and my managers had to wear green screen, it was in front of a green screen, so they had to wear the like green outfits, like you couldn't see their faces, anything, and operate the ears and the eyelids. And that was the one bit that Akinola didn't tell us was going to happen.
Okay.
But
That was
when
a
they
little
got there, he
surprise
was
on
like, "Yeah,
set.
just put these on." And then, they were really musty after that.
Well, it's such a good song.
I had bruises from sitting. I was kind of sat on we put a table in the top, I think, so I had to climb up a little ladder and then sit, and it was quite wide. So by the end of the day, we were all ruined. But
12 hours of that.
It's a good video.
I'm getting the sort of feet sensation of being on one of those gyrating horse, like a saloon.
Yeah. So we did loads of videos at the end, slow-mo.
Such a good
Everyone
song. And
having a go
it's
with
over a
that,
million
yeah.
streams now. So like the impact it's had is incredible.
Yeah.
The sort of path you've chosen is very much your own, and you've said before that you take your time with it, and it's very much your own journey and not at the will of, I guess, anyone else.
Yeah.
So you initially went into academia. You said sort of, I have a quote here. Can I read it to you?
Gosh, yeah.
"I think academia was my way of rebelling against a family of creative freaks."
That sounds
You
like
said,
something
sorry to quote you on it, but you said it, so it's out
Sorry,
there.
Mum, Dad, everyone else. Because I was in a band, I guess from when I was about 24, 25, I think, is when, 2014, when it was just starting to do well. It's called Pains.
Pains?
Like Panes, not like my pains in my back. And I was the only woman in the band, or there were two of us, but... just me and my friend who's a man, and I don't know, just a lot of things going on in my personal life. I just kind of decided I love doing music, but maybe the industry side isn't for me. The
sort of cyclical nature of it.
Yeah, and like being a woman in the industry, being the way that we were treated differently. And I just started to question, like, maybe I like singing, but more for myself. And I don't want to do the sort of, the selling side or the business side, or because at the time I was like, that's such a small percentage of what I love.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there were lots of reasons, but I had just started doing a master's, so I was like, I'm just going to, leave the music behind me.
Just going to focus on that.
Yeah.
And was it anthropology and politics?
It was anthropology, so material and visual anthropology.
What is that? I'm a double-time uni dropout, so I need a bit of a... What is that?
It is. I was telling my friend the other day. It is how sort of the social, what you'd study in social anthropology, so like the social world and how that affects people, how that manifests itself in stuff and like visual things, but also the other way around. So like how the stuff affects us. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah.
How was it?
I really wish I'd waited until I was a bit maybe more mature. Like it was really interesting, but it was also like...
Sounds heavy.
It was, yeah. And it was also when I was just in a band and also had started going out like probably the most in my whole life. So there was a lot going on.
Wait, as in
going out and having a great time, but also like maybe not when you've just started doing this really interesting masters.
Gotcha.
And then, yeah.
Where were you going out? Because the theme of Axel Arigato Talks Season 2, where we're sitting right now, hence the speakers, is all about music. So obviously that world encompasses clubbing and sort of nightlife.
Yeah.
Where did you go out?
I think at the time, it was good. So
It's all Florida, it's all coming back to you.
It's all coming back. It was a long time ago, but it's all coming back to me. I was out in South London a lot. I remember going to World Unknown quite a lot, which is like a big late night dirty party, which I love. I don't even know if they do them anymore. Probably. I just don't go out anymore.
Okay. What do you mean dirty party?
Just like just
like rough and ready.
Yeah.
Good time.
Just like not in like not one of these like clean venues where you pay loads of money. And it was just like wherever.
Right. Those are the best ones.
Yeah. We're going out in East a lot. I think kind of wherever. I think that was the issue. I was like, if something's happening, I'll be there. And not going to uni enough, but yeah.
Well, I think that's natural at the time. I mean, I haven't been out in so long.
I know, same.
I've reached a point in my life, I'd want to say be it good or bad, but I think it's good that if I'm not moisturised and in bed by 10, something's gone seriously wrong. I can't even imagine being out, because back in the day, especially going out in East, like you said, like I loved the Glory, I loved Queen Adelaide, I loved the Haggerston.
Yeah.
And I'd do it on a weekday.
Oh, the Haggerston. I was there a lot.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's a good spot.
Yeah. But
Gets rowdy.
Yeah. Okay, so I say I haven't been out in ages. I actually was out on Saturday and I briefly went past the Haggerston.
Is it calling your name?
I just kind of ended up in there. It was great. Haven't been out for ages before that, but walked in and was like, I do kind of feel a bit old. And I kind of like that. I was like, you've got this, do your thing.
To everyone else?
Yeah, and then we went to Brilliant Corners. Actually, my friends took me there and I was like, I kind of want to go back to Haggerston where it was a bit more, what did I say? Big dirty party.
Big dirty party.
Yeah.
No, I think the East venues are the best.
Yeah.
And I think it's, you can't go wrong East. But we were saying earlier, you're a West London girl.
Yeah.
Well, you've kind of lived everywhere. I mean, you've done Malaga, you've done New York, you've done London, and you've done Sweden.
Yes.
Where feels like home?
Probably nowhere.
Oh.
But like everywhere.
Very sisterhood of the travelling pants.
Everywhere, nowhere. No, I think more and more London.
Okay.
For a while I was like, do I want to live in Sweden? Just because everything that's like a bit long and a bit of a struggle here is like so easy there. And you can, I don't know, everything that's really boring and annoying there is really fun and easy here. Right. But I think I was like, I just feel happier and like in bed and moisturised and feeling great. But I tried to live there in 2016 and after that was like, basically, no, I don't want to live here. So here's home more and more, but then when you've moved loads, and because I moved at 15, like there's just certain things that I just missed. So I'm like constantly reminded, like
Swedish things that you missed?
Things that I missed from not growing up here.
Right.
So you're constantly reminded, like you're a bit different. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I like...
But your roots feel like they're here?
For now, yeah, definitely.
What's that? Because this is a Swedish company, Axel Arigato.
Yes.
And I've been a few times. It's like Gothenburg, born and raised, but there's this chocolate thing called Smash. Do you know Smash? Salty chocolate?
It's Norwegian.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and it's really, really good.
They sell it in 7-Elevens in Sweden, and whenever we go, we're like, right.
That's exactly what we do. We've done. So I started this organisation after what I was saying, the being in a band, questioning being a woman in music. I started an organisation with a friend called Ladies Music Pub for women non-binary and trans people in music. And we've curated a couple of things at this festival in Norway called Bilar.
Right.
Which are really great, really fun. But the biggest highlight is always filling our suitcases with smash when we come.
Spare case. So those were those the panels that we were talking about earlier?
That's a couple of the panels, yeah.
So talk to me about the organisation you started. Was it something you always wanted to do? Was it like an itch you had to scratch? Or did you see a gap and you thought, I've got to do something?
Definitely. It was me and my friend Hannah TW. She worked on the industry side and me on the kind of artist side, and both of us were talking about our similarities. And then, with lots of other friends that we were talking to at the time. Especially then, I think it was, 2015, things were really different. There was way less support, way less, women-run organisations, and it definitely was very necessary. It's still necessary now, but, the necessities change, and there's more and more groups like ours, which I think is good.
And so what are the aims of the group? Is it music adjacent?
We do, yeah. So it's for people in music, and it's partly like networking, but in a really organic, not corporate way.
Okay.
So just meeting,
so like a nice,
people.
authentic way to actually meet people.
Finding jobs, asking questions. We do in-person meetups, but then we also run events, have a record label, management and production company.
It's amazing.
Basically do everything. We've got a radio show in a bit.
Is that launching soon?
No, just like a one-off.
A one-off?
Yeah.
I've got to tune in.
Yeah, do.
Now, you strike me as a bit of a fashion girly. Well, okay, maybe you went a bit, but...
She tries.
She dabbles. You've walked Bottega.
I have... modelled in their salon O2.
Yeah.
I haven't walked for them yet. I would love to, but I walked for Gabriella Hirst.
Gabriella Hirst show, and then also you soundtracked Paris Fashion Week show for Stella McCartney.
Yeah.
I actually saw a TikTok a while ago of you sitting next to Stella when they were doing the run through, and it was that like, is it Glue Bicep?
What was the
or
song?
It Jungle
I think it was LSDXO. Oh yeah.
It was like boom.
Yeah,
and Stella's like.
It's an LSDXO. Yeah.
God, what was how did that come?
Pat McGrath sitting next to
Pat
me.
McGrath, yeah. How?
It's like the biggest day of my life. But meeting Auntie Pat.
Talk to me through like soundtracking it. Did you have a look at the clothes before, or did you have free reign?
No, I had like a mood board, and then Stella's basically just really hands-on. So she was like, I'm going to take your number. I was really busy. It was really last minute, as loads of fashion things are. So they were like, basically, you've got a week. I'm going to take your number. And then we just like texted intensely for a week to get it all together.
References back and forth.
References back and forth. And then, she like chooses she's involved in every tiny little bit. So, it was the craziest week of my life.
Yeah, I mean, it looked and it sounded it as well. How long was the music for that?
It was 25 minutes, which is insanely long for a fashion show.
What?
And then you don't really realise, I've playlisted stuff, I've made music, obviously, played gigs, but you don't really realise that a fashion show, 1 minute feels like ages.
So did they want music for arrivals and bits like that, or was the show just 25 minutes?
The actual show was 25 minutes because it was outside the Pompidou, so the space was massive. So, and then they need a little bit on the beginning and end just for it to run over.
Wowza.
But it was amazing. So I got a mood board, and obviously, all the inspo and not what the exact clothes look like, but all the themes for the show, and then went to Paris 2 days before.
God.
And was just in the showroom, finishing it while they're finishing all the bits.
Major.
It was amazing.
What's your, as of today, creatively, what's your stance in terms of that relationship between fashion and music?
I think it's so important and exciting. I think more and more as well as the music industry has changed. In the 90s, there was just seemed endless money in music. So I feel like that relationship with fashion and brands and music becomes more and more important. Me personally, I'm trying to think of inventive ways we can work together, because we are a little bit dependent on it, but not in a negative way. But I think,
that one a lot of the time informs the other.
Exactly, yeah.
Speaking of the 90s, what I really miss is the art of the music video.
Yeah.
I
think it's kind of it's become a bit more important again. Yeah. I don't know if you agree. I don't know.
I just don't see it as much, and I think there's less weight. Me growing up watching watching current day ones, like I remember watching like Rich Girl, Gwen Stefani and Eve. And
Yeah.
it's like they're on a boat, they're wearing like Westwood couture, this is
Yeah.
like Mage.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously when you go a bit further back to the 90s where it's like George Michael and you've got all the supers in there, like
Yeah.
that seems to me like the heyday. But again, you're right, there are some artists who have such a focus on the visual language of it.
Yeah, I guess we've just had to rethink, because like then you had, you know, TV just for music, like a station just for music videos.
yeah.
I mean, you know, more than one station. There was a whole TV industry just for music, which we don't have anymore. And the budgets were different. So I feel like now, I don't know, we're just rethinking, like still want to make the visual. Like Tuesday, for example, I don't think the song would have done what it did if I didn't have that video.
Right.
So I think it's still really important. But yeah, you don't have the like, I don't know if you ever watched like Cisco Shakedown and stuff.
What's Cisco Shakedown?
It was like a pool party on MTV.
By the rapper Cisco?
Yeah. Like so tacky but amazing.
What
Just
happened
all
in
these
that?
people, and there were loads of them. I can't remember any of the other names.
So it
People
was a
just
pool-
dancing, kind of like spring break vibe.
But like almost like a Top of the Pops round a pool where they play
Kind
music
of, yeah.
and people
And
dance.
there was like one that was like Jenny McCarthy,
I remember
just like, I don't know, just kind of hyping people up and chatting, and then there's just people in bikinis dancing.
Bring that back.
By the beach in Florida.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't
more
know if that's
of,
as important as a music video, but
That
was
sounds
cool.
much better than Love Island.
Yeah, actually.
Watch that
yeah.
any day. Right, so your debut EP was Pisces Problems.
Yes,
You are a Pisces.
I am.
You believe in astrology?
I do.
Me too.
I know.
And we're both Leo rising.
Yes.
That's why we get on so well.
Which I think is good. That's like the first bit that people meet when they...
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, you're not very Pisces. You seem way too together. And I'm like, really?
But I've got like 5 best mates on the planet and 4 of them are Pisces.
I love that.
Unintentionally. I just
love
gravitate towards them for some reason.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a little quick game here.
Let's go.
In honour of the debut EP's title, Pisces Problems. So I'm going to read you typical characteristics of a Pisces.
Okay.
I love astrology too, so I've done my research and I've found like a really... It's CoStar. I've gone to CoStar because I'm not
Okay,
doing
yeah.
any, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you typical characteristics. If you agree with it, you say Pisces. If you
Okay,
don't
I
agree with
see.
it, problem.
Okay.
You ready?
Got it.
First up, deeply emotional.
Agree. Pisces.
Pisces.
Pisces. I was like, wait, I forgot the word.
Quick thumbs up.
Very Pisces, sorry.
Deeply emotional, you feel it all.
Pisces.
Great.
Yes.
A little bit psychic.
Pisces.
Have you had any premonitions lately?
Not lately, but I have in the past.
Have you?
Yeah.
Like what?
I was I was waiting. Okay, long story short, I was with Akinola, who directed Tuesday, in Cuba, and they don't really have taxis. You have to just wait for these, what they called, like co-op cars that people just jump in like a bus.
Oh, like
We've
a
been
minibus.
waiting, kind of, yeah, but it's just a car, and then they just fill them until it's full, and you just pay like £1, and it runs a certain route.
Right.
Anyway, we've been waiting for ages and ages and ages and ages, and the cars don't stop. And he's like, tell me. I was like, no, there's a car coming soon. I can feel it, or something. And then he was like, what does the car look like, or something like that. And then I was just shut my eyes and was like, it's green. There's a man in a whatever coloured shirt driving it, and there's a woman in the front. That's the car that came. Just came round the corner. And he was like, I was like, don't make me do this, Akin, because you'll be scared. And then I closed my eyes, and I just saw the car, and then there it was.
Wow. Talk about some sort of manifestation. That's so Raven of you.
It's quite helpful. You're like, I can see your taxi. It's around the corner.
Yeah. God, okay. Can't remember if they dreamt it or if it actually happened.
Pisces.
God, you're getting all of these. So you agree with that one?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lines of
Dreamer.
reality blurring.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel the same way sometimes.
Yeah.
Next up, no boundaries.
Oh. I want to say problem, but it's probably Pisces. I'm going to say Pisces.
You're going to say Pisces?
Yeah.
Sticking with it.
I want to say problem because I don't want to be boundaryless.
It's
but
probably hard to, I think it's hard to utter, like, I have no
yeah,
boundaries.
I have no boundaries.
But maybe it's in different elements of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Pisces.
Got different tolerances to it. All right, second from last. This kind of links back to what you were saying in Cuba. Thinks everything is a sign.
Pisces. Are there any of these that are a problem?
You tell me. Right, last up. Somehow both 5 and 50 years old at the same time.
Pisces.
Shit, you got all of these.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you feel 5 and 50 at the same time. Is this the moisturising in bed by 10 vibe and also going out to the Haggerston?
Yeah.
Right.
There's that. Also, you know, just like being very wise and also very naive at the same time.
That's a nice space to live in.
Yeah, it keeps you looking young. And people always think I'm very young, but also very wise.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect combo. So I want to talk about this sort of creative family of freaks that we talked about at the start as well.
Yeah.
You've taken your time with the music and you put out what you really believe in, and it lands. It has like a real sonic footprint with a lot of people.
Thank you.
The right people. What's your view on sort of protecting that artistic lineage you come from? Because your mother being Neneh Cherry, your father Cameron McVey, their reputations precede them. So instead of just asking about them in a basic way, I wanted to sort of frame it in terms of, do you feel there's a need to protect it and create your own? What's your viewpoint on that?
Well, I don't think anyone's ever thought to reframe that ever. So thank you. Like, this first time anyone's ever asked me about my family in an interesting way.
Well, it's an honour.
I'm always like, oh God.
Here we go again.
I mean, how do you mean protecting? Do you mean like, do I want to sort of protect the story by not talking about it, or yeah? How do you mean?
I think I mean it in a way that's. I think maybe there could be a sense that it will always be brought up, and your relationship with as and when you talk about it, and as and when you channel that artistic lineage ever.
Yeah, I think definitely. Maybe that's kind of what I was saying about wanting to rebel and do anthropology. I think I was a bit like, I'm just going to do something completely different because every other person in my family has gone that way. Obviously, it didn't work, and it catches up with you in the end, and I'm glad it has. But I think, so when I was in the band Pains that I talked about, I like refused to talk about it ever and was like, don't ever bring it up. And before that, I was in a band when I was younger where I pretended that I was someone completely different.
Right. What, under an alias?
Yeah. And was like, I'm not at all.
What was your alias?
I don't actually don't want to talk about it. But
okay. No, that's something we don't talk
it's
about.
Like, no. It's just like really cheesy. Anyway, I don't know. I guess it's like sort of feeling like I need to fight to be my own person sometimes, because obviously, you know. And when I was younger, I was a bit more like, just let me talk about what I do.
Yeah.
But I also am very proud.
Of course.
So I think it's sort of being protective of making sure our story is told right and that people understand us as we are.
And there's no sort of misinformation, and I guess the legacy is the art itself.
Yeah. And, you know, like amazing people, from my grandmother, who's a visual artist, to both of my mum's grandfathers, who, you know, one biological and her dad, who she grew up with, who are very different musicians but amazing musicians.
So it's in the blood.
Yeah, it really is.
And as you said, it catches up with you.
Yeah. I can't really do anything else. I've tried. I'm not that good at anything else.
What else have you tried? I'm really intrigued, like, for like super creative and inspiring people other jobs, because I think it's a rite of passage in many ways to do other things. So what were you doing when you were sort of jobbing about, if ever?
I was a waitress for a very long time, like maybe 12 years.
Wow.
On and off. Sometimes really good, most of the time, you know, and then, I don't know, just get a bit Pisces. And the last job that I had, second to last job I had to leave before they sacked me because I basically wasn't paying attention, and someone walked out and they didn't pay a very expensive bill. So they called me the next day and I was like, I quit, before they could be like...
Do you think they were going to be like, you have to pay for it? Surely not.
No, I think they were just going to, like...
Bollock you.
Yeah, and I was like, I really don't want to work here.
You're like, stuff it up your ass.
Sorry, I'm really embarrassed. So yeah, that's probably the longest. I don't know, lots of little bits and bobs, and I still do. I still work part time.
But being a waitress for 12 years probably means you're very polite on a date to people.
Yeah,
which can be quite a turn off sometimes. Which leads me very nicely into our last segment, which is icks.
Okay. Yes.
I'm a big believer in icks, and I think it's.
It's the worst.
It's the worst, right? You can really go from hero to zero in a sec.
Okay. So quick, and you cannot go back.
Can't shake it.
No.
Yeah. All right. I want to get your. This is less rapid fire. I'm gonna say it and then we'll unpack it a touch.
Okay.
I want to hear what you think of these icks because these are mine.
Okay.
When he runs for the bus.
Oof. It depends. Sometimes.
Depends where he needs to go.
It depends what it looks like.
Okay. I'm imagining like backpack, sweat on the brow, really like giving it.
No, it's an ick.
Great.
Yeah.
Thought so. What situation would he get off if he was running for the bus?
I don't know if it was like I don't know if it just
If it was
looks
chic?
yeah, if it just looks sexy.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Sexy
a bus,
run.
so it's not going to look sexy.
Wow.
But yeah, you never know.
Unless it's one of the new ones where you can jump on at the back. That could be kind of chic, yeah. Pushing on a pool door.
Oh God, it's an ick. It's such an
such an
ick.
ick.
Just read the sign. Yeah.
Read the sign.
Yeah.
You're good
Pay
at reading
attention.
signs. Yeah, pay attention. This one kills me. Walking back after they've bowled a ball at bowling. You know, that sort of shuffle back when they're like, got it.
And then it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely an ick.
We're quite aligned
I
here.
know. It's the Leo rising.
It is the Leo rising coming through. Instead of texting, sending a voice note early into the sort of dating.
Absolutely no. No. No.
But
I mean, as in
hey,
it's a massive.
it's a massive ick, yeah?
Yeah. Too much, too soon.
Too much too soon.
And also, like, then you're busy and you can't, reply when you want or listen. No, just no.
And do you know what else I find really hard about sending voice notes as well? It's like if it accidentally stops recording halfway through,
Yeah.
trying to conjure that enthusiasm you had in the first round is like, ugh.
Or having to re-record it.
Having to re-record
Oh,
it.
God.
Right,
Yeah.
last one. When the barber has to pump up his chair. That kills me.
Oh, absolutely agree. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but yeah, it would.
Just the thought.
Yeah. Can I tell you mine?
Please, yeah.
Shoes. When the shoes are bad.
Okay.
Like when the shoes just aren't, or like you'll come in, we've seen each other twice, and you'll come in with this rogue shoe. That's it. I'm done.
Without mentioning any brand names.
And I can't.
What is it like are we talking like a dad sneaker style? Are we talking like...
Oh, again, it depends. Like, it's just, it depends on their style. But yeah, if it was like a bad dress shoe or
when they've got this, if they're wearing a suit and it's too short and you can see the sock.
yeah, or like a sports sock and no.
Game over.
I'm done. And it doesn't matter what happens before. I'm just done. That's it.
You could have just been wed and you thought, you know what, you've just really tipped me over the edge there.
Bye.
I want to wrap up just with a quick chat about your outlook for the year. Because you do lots of, as we've discussed, you do lots of different things. Music is your passion, and it's something that's been building, but it's a calling.
Yeah.
What does this year look like for you in terms of expectations? What are you hoping to garner from it? Like spiritually, creatively?
I like this question. I feel like last year I put myself under a lot of pressure and I had a lot of expectations of things I wanted to achieve. And this year I'm like, I just want to be creative, sort of sit back and see what happens, but not in a lazy way, just like letting go of expectations and letting things come to me.
That's quite freeing then, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, I just need to let go of that, like, this must happen. And then it doesn't happen, and then you're just sat there like, you're like GTA, like hitting the wall.
God, I miss GTA.
I know, me too.
Did you play Vice? Were you like an old timer, like Vice City days, San Andreas?
Yes, but like only like my brother, like, yeah, not like.
I miss it.
I really want a soundtrack. Be on the radio, GTA. Anyway, and yeah, just like having fun. I feel like again last year was quite hitting that wall, trying to be too focused. Whereas now I'm like, just want to make stuff.
You want to make
just
stuff.
want to have a good time.
That's a good way to do it. Because I find a lot of artists that I've spoken to, when they feel like they have it could be anything. You could be a writer. It's not really a creative block as such. It's more decision fatigue.
Yeah.
So if you've had a year of like, have to do this, have to do that.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a really good outlook.
Less admin, more music. Less worrying, more fun.
Love that.
To sum up.
So good to chat to you today.
You too.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.